Hello and welcome. This is Coach Tiffany Parra with Phoenix Fitness Fanatics Magazine. We are taking center stage on the Own It platform. Once again, we are also in the SoulCal Connect group today because we have a wonderful woman from Southern California who I'm going to introduce to you. She has just an amazing, oh my gosh, this is an amazing therapy that's just going to help you get better all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her on in. Hello, Marv.
Hey,
Welcome. Thank you so much
welcome.
for joining me today, sweetie. Oh my gosh, I'm
Thank
so
you for
excited to
asking.
have you.
Thank you for asking. That's very kind of you.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. So everybody, let me just tell you just a little bit. So Marv and I connected, of course, like a lot of us do on social media. And she has this wonderful technology that she represents called PEMF. It's Pulse Electromagnetic Field Therapy. Now, I'm just going to tell you just a little bit about my own experience with this because I was able to get a unit from Marv. It's a mat that you lay on, and I had this thing for about 2 weeks. And this did miraculous things to my family. So I will be investing. I noticed a difference. I work out every day. Y'all know I coach and I'm out in the gym and I'm online and everything. And your body hurts. I mean, when you're working out like that and when you're just moving around just in general, the body can hurt. And we just go through a lot of stress. I mean, breathing the air, all that stuff too, right? All the things that we put in our bodies. So a lot of inflammation in there. And Marv told me about this. I got the mat. First day I laid down on it, I noticed there was a big difference in the back pain that I had. And I noticed that I had a really, really good sleep, like the best sleep I have had in years. My husband also used it. He felt the same way. And since we returned the mat, he actually said, you know what, babe, I missed the mat. And I'm like, well, why do you miss the mat? It's because I slept better. Now I'm up like at night, 3, 4 times at night. But with the mat, I slept all night and I really had good sleep. So it was just amazing. And another thing is our puppies. Now, my dog is stuck to me constantly. He's a Chihuahua Beagle mix. And when I turned this on, Marv let me know that, hey, anybody can use this. I mean, from infants to elderly to animals, everything. So dogs got on it. My dog has like really bad tummy issues. He's always, like throwing stuff up and all that stuff. And his breath is horrendous. And he laid on the mat for the 2 weeks with me. Every time I would get on the mat, he'd get on the mat with me, and his breath stopped stinking. He wasn't throwing up as much. It was just really amazing. So, Marv, that is all about I could go on forever about just how I feel about this mat right now. But Marv, please tell our audience just, about your experience with PEMF and exactly what PEMF is.
Oh, great. Well, thank you. Again, thank you for asking. That was very kind of you. And I was really thrilled about it. So just so you know, and I know you know this, I am not a practitioner. I am just an end user. I basically got introduced to it through my holistic chiropractor. And make a long story, hopefully kind of short, is that one of the biggest things I have is restless leg syndrome. It's in the family of it's actually periodic leg movement disorder. So I literally wake up 50 to 60 times an hour. I mean, I went through the sleep studies. It's bad. They wanted me to take an anti-Parkinson drug and this and that, and I am not going to do any drugs. So anyways, so I was working because I'm always up and stuff like that. I used to be a operations manager at this fermentation place. So I'd be at work at 2:00 in the morning and I'd work literally 16, 18 hours. And, just so you know, I'm 64. Now, at that time, I was 58 and I felt like I was 75. I definitely had the old age type of attitude. The sound was bothering me. I was, and I like to enjoy a glass of wine, and it was messing up with my wine time because I would have a glass of wine and I felt like I drank the whole bottle. So anyways, I was really starting to feel like, oh my God, I'm really getting old. And I was only 58 at that time. So went to try this mat at 8:00 in the morning. Now I'd been at work already for about 5 or 6 hours. Now, since I have had this restless leg syndrome issue for decades, just so you know, they told me there's no cure. And again, they wanted me to take this anti-Parkinson drug Thank God I had the wherewithal to understand not to do that. That was in my 30s. So that would have been, I would have been just, I don't even know where I'd be if I had taken drugs like that. Anyway, so fast forward, I dreamt that night. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I totally forgot I used the mat. I laid on it for 8 minutes. I'm familiar with PEMF because back then it was only for doctors, only holistic doctors. And it cost like $300 to go to a session. And that would be down like in Venice, Santa Monica area. I'm in the Pasadena area. So it's a bit of a jaunt, let alone $300 each time. I was like, no.
Right.
So I used it that night. I dreamt. And I never go into REM state since obviously I wake up 50 to 60 times an hour. Okay, so then the second night I dreamt again. I was like, oh my, totally forgot I used the mat because, I'm working, like I said, 16 to 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, whatever. And, killing my adrenal glands and blah, blah, blah. So all of a sudden I'm talking to my roommate and having a glass of wine. And I said, it's weird. I've been dreaming. He says, well, what have you done different? I said, I haven't done anything different. And then all of a sudden I realized I used the PEMF. So I'm the type of person that I don't like to look into it immediately. I trust my holistic approach chiropractor doctor. He's not really a chiropractor. He's more really my holistic doctor. So I ended up looking into it. I knew intuitively for me, that's what I was going to use. And I ended up investing in it. And I had no desire to really do the business, quote unquote, do the business and stuff. And as I'm sure you can tell, I have a big mouth. Everybody knows me. They know my history with other health issues besides that one, but that was the biggest one. And they just started buying mats because they saw the difference in me very short time. So so PEMF, just so you know, like you said, it's pulsed electromagnetic field. And to make it really, really simple, it is basically what I like to say, acupuncture on steroids without the needles. Some people like to reference it as grounding on steroids. But grounding is just a static magnetic. Pulse electromagnetic field is what we actually get from our earth. It's electromagnetic field that pulses. And we're literally losing our electromagnetic field due to the 5G. That's very devastating to our bodies and to our cells. So basically, as we all know, we're electrical beings. You know how they say we're connected to the earth? Well, absolutely, we are. We are literally electricity. That's why acupuncture is huge and why people say, they go to the beach and they walk on the, in the sand or in the park and stuff, and which is great. You're not getting a lot of it because we're losing so much because of 5G. I mean, that's devastating our body. So, and that's just, you guys can look that up and you'll just be blown away in how devastating it really is to our body and stuff. So what it does is it's like, think of it as battery. So I like to say they're like little mechanics. So you know that you have to put an electrical charge in your battery of your car or your car doesn't run. So think of our 75 trillion plus or minus whatever of these, your cells. And what's happening is that they're coagulated, they're sticky, and they're not flowing. You want them to be nice and round, like nice round raisins. And you want them vibrant, you want them free-wheelie, you want them bouncing around. You need them in an oxygenated environment. So your biological terrain has to be in an oxygenated state. Cancer can't live in an oxygenated state. Now, I'm not saying that you'll never get cancer. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that what you want to do is you want to oxygenate your body. So that way you can start to charge your cells. And if you charge your cells, which is voltage, then your cells start to repair and heal itself. So we're constantly detrimenting our body with the way we eat, with our stress, by us just sitting. Just like coagulation is always, it's always getting sticky. So what happens with PEMF, imagine these little cells and you're putting little cables and you jumpstart it. And so what you're doing is you're literally putting electrical current into the cell. So the cell can start to heal and repair itself. So the nutrients can come in and then the waste can go out. And it can't do that if it's all sticky and muddied and everything. On my website, you can look at everything. It's got quite a bit of information. Some people know about dark field microscopy. I think I shared that with you, Tiffany, about I did a before and after, with the PEMF, and I have that on my website. So feel free to check that out. It's dark field microscopy test. Prick your blood, and then you literally use this special microscope, and you can literally see your red blood cells and your white blood cells floating, hopefully floating in spread
Yeah.
out, but usually they're coagulated. And what happens is it can't go through your circulation. PEMF is fact that it helps with microcirculation. So microcirculation, if you don't have that, leads to heart failure and
Yeah.
strokes and stuff. So does that kind of make sense?
Wow. Yeah. That makes total sense to me. Oh my goodness.
So, and just so
So,
you know, PEMF is not a cure. What it does is it enhances everything that you do. So, you know, you eat right, you're taking your medication. It's FDA approved on many things with depression and brain cancer and just all kinds of stuff. But just know that it is in conjunction of what you do. It's not in lieu of. So like with me, when I started it, I knew immediately I had to get it. I love it. I will use it till the day I die. My cat uses it. My friends, animals use it. Everybody. So yes, it
Now
just
let's talk a
really
little bit about we talked in depth, a little more in depth about your your health issues and things that you were having. Can you share a little bit of about just what was going on with you and kind of the reaction that you received from your physician after using the PEMF system?
Oh, one of the biggest things is that, like I said, I'm 64. So, they're very shocked that I don't take any medication because usually people are obviously when they start hitting in their 40s and 50s, they're taking some type of medication, blood pressure, high cholesterol, whatever. And so they're always very shocked that I'm not taking anything. So, and I'll be honest with you, my cholesterol was starting to get a little higher and, above the border. And my blood pressure was definitely starting to elevate and had been elevating since I was in my 30s. I just slowly kept elevating to the point where it was almost 164 over something. So, yeah. And he insisted you need to start taking some cholesterol medication. I'm not doing Bo Diddley squat. That is not what I do. I'm going to find out. I'm not going to treat the symptom because that's all you're doing is treating the symptom. I'm going to find the cause and I'm going to work on dealing with the healing the body. Because as you know, I like to lovingly say we're self-healing. We're like self-cleaning ovens.
Right.
If the body is really working, we heal ourselves. We heal, we self-regulate and everything. That's what PEMF does. It helps to repair the cells so the cells can start to repair itself and repair our own bodies. So one of the things is once I started using the PEMF, I never said anything to the doctors. And so they were very, very insistent. And so they said, okay, come back in 6 months. And then we really need to negotiate this. I says, well, there's no negotiation, but okay, I'll humor you. So we'll go fast forward about 6 months later. I'd been using the PEMF regularly. I use it every day. And he was quite shocked because I've had him for quite a few years. And he's been slowly, like I said, seeing my elevation. And he says, and I also had fluid around my pericardium and some other stuff and everything. So these were things were starting to really, if I didn't get a hold of it, could become very serious.
Right.
And he was shocked, checked my blood test, and he was like, what are you doing? And of course, I don't know what he's asking because I don't know if it's good or bad at this point because I can't read his expressions. And he says, your cholesterol has gone down. Now, it's never gone down. All it's done is gone up. I said, oh, okay. I don't say anything. And he says, and your blood pressure? He says, it's normal. And now, Ed, I'm going to be honest with you. It had not been normal for years and years. I might get lucky one day. It might get down to 130. But so, and I'm listening to him and he's like, and your heart, he says, is, because we did the echogram and blah, blah, blah. And he's just kind of like, what are you doing? I says, well, he said, are you taking the medication? I said, no, I told you I'm not going to. And he's looking in his notes. He says, oh, that's right. And I look at him, I go, yes, I'm one of them, And so he says, well, what are you doing? I told him about PEMF. And he says, I've heard of that. I said, yes. I said, some doctors do use PEMF. A lot of alternative doctors, for sure, functional doctors. They even have it in cancer centers. So hello. Right. In 2011, it was FDA approved for brain cancer. So I'm just saying, yeah. So, yeah. And so anyways, and there's a lot of medical studies improving and stuff. So this isn't some woo-woo stuff. And so it's becoming more out there and getting more knowledge and everything. And like Dr. Linus Pauling, he is a 2 times Nobel Peace Prize. He said PEMF is a medical paradigm shift in our body, in our medical field. So I'm like, okay, yes, there's a lot to it. So he was really impressed. He goes and he says, well, I don't know much about it. And of course, I gave him a brochure, just happened to have one. I said, here you go. And he said, you know what? I'm going to look into this. I said, okay. And he says, well, whatever you're doing, he says, you're obviously doing something right. So after that,
That's amazing.
yeah. And
That
there's
is
other
so
stuff
amazing.
too, but I could go on for days like you know.
Yes, yes. So we are going to break for a quick commercial, and then we're going to come back, and Marv is going to share with us about another really amazing testimonial from another end user as well. So we will be right back.
Thank you.
All right, and we are back. Thank you.
That was a cool commercial, actually. I
Yeah,
like that.
that
I
is
don't know who that
so
guy was or the
amazing.
girl that was dancing, but did pretty good.
Right. It always makes me want to dance when I see that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I
So
love it.
Marv, we got to know about this other testimonial. I know you have shared it with me. Please share it with our viewers today about Janet and her dog.
Okay, so I'm going to just, if you don't mind, I'm going to share the screen and just,
Of
I
course.
want you to hear from the horse's mouth. So I did this video. I'm going to share it while I'm talking to you guys. So bear with me if I mess things up a little bit. So we're good, right? We can see me. We can see the video.
There you go. Yep.
Okay, so to make this very short, her name is Janet Ayers, and she has an amazing story. So what I'd like to do is just play like 3 minutes of this. So now this is raw footage, so bear with me. If you guys decide you want to see the whole thing, I would be more than happy to send it to you, but just know it's not been edited, and I apologize. I'm in the works of finding somebody to do all that because her story is amazing and stuff, but I would love to share that. Now, her dog in the back used to be her service dog, okay? So I'm going to just play a little bit, and you guys can go from there. How does that sound?
Awesome. Thanks, Mark.
And play. Okay. I think it's because it's been stuck. Okay, why isn't it playing? You know, it's funny. I just did it right before we got on. Okay, not sure why this isn't working. I apologize, you guys. Let's story. Who's that gorgeous? Oh, he's all puffed up.
There you go.
Hi, Blaze.
Hi, Blaze.
Say hi.
Why don't you tell me who this cutie is? You said his name's Blaze, correct?
His name is Blaze. He was my service dog. Now he's just a really well-trained dog. And he's on the mat because he has some health issues of his own. So this is a black saliva duct in his neck. And this is a picture with my hand showing you how big it was. And it was sticking out of his neck. So I took him to the vet, and the vet said it's a black saliva duct. It will require a board certified surgeon to remove it. It would cost at least $1,000, and it would be 6 to 8 weeks before we could even have the consultation. So I said, okay, well, in the meantime, I'll take him home. I'll put him on the mat. The vet said, you can do whatever you want. Nothing is going to make this go away except to have it surgically removed. So we took him home. We put him on the mat. We put it on sensitive for 10 minutes a day, 10 days in a row. And this is a picture of his neck, and it's completely gone. After 10 days, it was completely done. So this is a picture of all of my animals doing the mat. As you can tell, they're tortured by it and each other. So one day I took Blaze outside to go potty, and I noticed that he urinated blood. And so I called the vet, and they couldn't even answer the phone. So I texted them and said, my service dog is urinating blood. And they said, get him to the emergency vet now. But my husband had my car. So while I was waiting, I put him on the mat for a solid hour and a half. And after an hour and a half, he urinated yellow. So I called my contact for the vet. He just heard a noise he's going to go address. So I called my contact for the mat, and she put me in touch with a vet that uses this system in his practice, a vet that actually wants his patients to heal. And he said that if he went potty outside to begin with, which he obviously did, and if he didn't appear to be sickly, which he did not, then don't take him to the vet. Just put him on the mat for 5 or 6 hours a day for a week. And so that's what we did. He did 3 2-hour naps on the mat each day, and he never went to the vet. So my service dog urinated blood, and I never took him to the vet because this system is so incredibly powerful that I trust this system more than I trust my vet.
Wow.
Wow. And when you did the 2 hours or whatever and stuff, what was it? What did you do it on? Like sensitive or?
He doesn't like it any higher than 25. He's
Okay.
very sensitive like I am. So, and the sense doesn't work so well on his paw. So I just left him on 25. The vet said to jack it up to 400 if he would take it up to 400 and to use it, because the higher you go, the more of a cellular response you get. But it doesn't require jacking it up to 400 to get the job done. You don't want to give your body more than what your body wants to absorb, which is why the sense is such an integral part of this system.
Wow. Okay, you'll explain to me that in just a minute and stuff.
I will.
Definitely introduce yourself to what brought you to the mat and PEMF and your history and all that. You have a remarkable one.
Okay. So I was born with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a hereditary connective tissue disorder affecting the collagen, where all of my joints come out of socket very easily. And I have internal fragility. Because of the EDS, I got disabled by my knee pain in my early 20s. From there, I got weaker, and my shoulders and everything started to fall apart. I've had my feet reconstructed, my knees cleaned out from the scar tissue from constantly dislocating. I've had my thumb fused, a vein removed, my shoulders reattached, 7 hernias repaired, all my teeth gone. I've had a lot of surgeries from head to toe, but I don't know how many of them were necessary at this point, because 25 years after being disabled, or after being disabled for 25 years, and after spending 14 years, the bulk of 14 years in a hospital bed in my home, taking up to 29 prescriptions, including 125 micrograms of fentanyl per hour, plus oxycodone, plus 3 antidepressants, plus anti-anxiety medicine, and lots more. Now I don't have to take any medication. And what got me off all the medication is my mat. And so
how long did that process take, out of curiosity?
Not very long. The fentanyl, you're supposed to come down 15 micrograms every 30 days. But I worked with my pharmacist, and with what I had left, I didn't even.
Okay. I think that kind of gives you a good sense.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and she tells a lot about when she walked into the doctors, she couldn't walk. She would be like this.
Mhm.
And so when she got introduced to PEMF, she said by the time she could walk, she roller skates every week. She bowls
Wow.
like 7 games every week. I mean, she's and like she said, her
Amazing.
service dog is no longer her service dog.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
and she even shares a lot more, but you get the gist there.
That's just amazing, though. I mean,
Yeah.
the healing of the dog, and just her having so many issues with, her health, and being able to now bowl and skate and do all these things, but she couldn't even walk. I mean, that's a miracle. It's just amazing.
And real
So,
quick, her pharmacist,
Mhm.
she has her own business, but because she's been with this pharmacist since taking all these, she wants Janet to take her out of business. So she
Wow.
has like 3 or 4 mats at the pharmacy, and they use it. And she
Wow.
says, I want you to take me out of business. And she's a pharmacist. She That is amazing.
Wow, that's
Her
amazing.
brother, who is from Pakistan, had one shipped to Pakistan because he's a doctor over there.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
just shows you how powerful that is.
No, that's huge. And now tell me, so for a lot of the, the professionals out there in the health and wellness field, tell me just, some of the different people, that could utilize this in their practice. I know you had mentioned, a holistic chiropractor. What are other, people that could utilize this in their practice, to just kind of level up their business and really be able to help their clientele?
It's interesting because so many people are getting involved with PEMF, realizing how it works so well with their business. So I would just share with some of the people that I know personally.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend of mine. She's a Reiki healer, and she does sound bath, and she does Pilates and yoga and all that. She incorporates that all in her business because PEMF calms the nervous system down. So, that is number one. We have people that are life coaches that literally use it within their business, because some people, what they do is that some life coaches that I know, they will have them come in 15 minutes early and they lay on the mat for 15 minutes and then they come in and do a session. Some of them, they do the session while they're laying on the mat for the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's low frequency, so it doesn't hurt you.
Right.
So some people do that. We have like the functional doctors, like I said, hyperbaric machines,
Mm-hmm.
they use it with PEMF because what's happening is that they use that and then afterwards they go on PEMF because it helps move everything around, that circulation, because you've already oxygenated yourself. We're going to oxygenate you more and we're going to get you moving. And so inside, so that's they use that a lot. Chiropractors use it along with them because they do it with their adjustments. I have a friend of mine, their business, they incorporate that with their infrared because they have the infrared one and all that. So
now, what about personal trainers?
Oh yeah. I have people that are physical therapists that use it. They just incorporate it in their business. Anybody and everybody that ever comes in, that is what they do. They use that, and then physical therapists, personal trainers. A lot of them will. What they do is that sometimes, depending on what they want to do, they come in again early, like 15 minutes before. They lay on the mat, they do their workout, and then they go afterwards to help remove that lactic acid,
oxygenate the body again,
and get that lactic acid moving and all that. So yeah, pretty much anybody and everybody, anybody and everybody needs PEMF. If you
I love that with the trainers, though. I love what you said with the trainers, because me as a trainer, I will definitely want to use something like this because this will help my clients to be able to recover a lot faster as well. When you have that oxygen in your body, that that helps the muscles to repair. So that I like that. I like that.
And and I apologize, I didn't mean to. I get excited. I get excited. It also enhances their workouts. So a lot of people tell me, they said, you know what? I know, because I have a friend of mine. She is a nutritionist. She got the mat, and in fact, she and I are the ones that did that dark field microscopy test before and afterwards. And she was shocked because of what she noticed. And she eats right. She's organic. She's always eaten organically since she was a kid. She was 55. She's an avid runner. She runs 5 to 10 miles a day, and she's been organic and she's been a vegan all her life. So you would think she would be the best of best, right? And she was shocked. She was in tears. She realized, oh my God, I'm shocked in how my blood looks, because it was actually a little bit worse than mine.
Well, I think it's the stress, though, too. You're stressing your body. If you're a runner, especially, running, you're stressing the body. You're heating it up, So that inflammation
when you sit all the time, you sit in front of a computer. Wi-Fi is terrible for your body. So anyways, you can go on.
Get up and walk around, people. Don't sit here in front of the screen all day long, right?
Yep. I used to stand so I stand up and, in front of the computer too. Yeah. And I use my keyboard. I do everything cable. I don't do Wi-Fi because that's devastating. You're just doing more. I mean, you're going to have Wi-Fi and you're around anyways. At least make it a little bit less.
Right. No, I just kidding.
So did I answer your question?
Different. Yeah, you did. So now there's a lot of different PEF devices out there. I know people probably are watching. They're probably going to run off and go online and look at some of the different ones. Now, what makes the one that you use, the Smith Bionic Solutions, what makes that particular system different from the other ones that are out there?
Well, absolutely, there's all different types of PEMF. There's high frequency and low frequency. For more of a holistic approach, low frequency for sure. Okay, especially when you can use it at home, and then obviously even use it in a clinical space and stuff. Like cancer, they have the low frequency, but they also have the high frequency. People that don't know how to use PEMF correctly, are not trained and skilled, high frequency can be very devastating to your body. And it can really literally burn your, like what even happened with Janet. She was using another type of brand. That's how she was introduced to another brand. And it burned her fingertips, her microcirculate. Wow. Oh yeah, it was, I've heard this before, and it really elevated her heartbeats. And she was just like this. And so low frequency, especially, it's more of a holistic approach. So some of the big differences is that one of the things for me is that when I started looking into it, for me personally, integrity is very important. So I ended up reading this book called PEMF, The Fifth Element of Health by Bryant Myers. He is a physicist. Well, I found out that, like I said at the beginning, I was just like reading everything. And I read this forward, in the forward in the book. And it was a guy named Wolfgang Jacks. And he talked about that he had, 22 years old or 25 years old, stage 4 cancer. Yeah. He was a professional bicyclist, I think, at that time. And he was also a race car driver and stuff. So he had money. So he had to obviously start taking care of his life and everything. And he got introduced to PEMF. And then so after it, we can never say that it cured him. But now 28 years or 30 years later, he's been cancer free. And again, He was stage 4. So I was like, okay. I need to look more into what he offers, because he really, after this, helped him so much. And obviously he ate better and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And stuff. So then he started to really do his investigation and stuff. One of the things is he's always wanted to do is make sure that we're FDA approved. So hardly any PEMF therapies out there, they're not a medical device. We're certified and approved a medical device by what they call the MDR 217/745, because the manufacturer is in Europe, Switzerland, Germany. Mm-hmm. So that's basically FDA approved. So we are a medical device. Most PMFs are not out there, are not medical devices. So that's one thing. Number 2, we have a biological clock in there. So Chinese medicine, we have, all of the, the delta, the beta, the brain wave and everything. And so what's happening is that the biological clock that is in the PEMF system helps work on that specific frequency that we need at that time. So we can change things around, which is great, because like if you're working graveyard, you can change the frequency so you're getting the right frequency for that time. So if you get home at 8 o'clock in the morning, the clock is immediately going to get you where you need to kind of wake up. So you would change this and make it manually change to make it go evening. So you're getting the frequency for evening. Yes. So that's another thing. We have the copper coils that are tightly wound, which makes it pure. So it makes it better to absorb into the tissue itself. Some of the other ones, and I even have some pictures of it, they are not tightly wound. Number 1, they're not using pure copper. And number 3, they're loose, and there's plastic in between. So it really loses a lot of the efficacy. So those are just some of the things. The one that I have that I love, I absolutely love. You have the one that you've been using is the Omnium One travel mat. That's the one that we had. I love using it. I take it with me everywhere. I take it with me to Bali. I take it when I go travel. I even take it when I'm just sitting in the car, because if you're sitting in the car for a few hours, there's that possibility. So when I went and took it to Bali on my plane, 16 hours, right? I'm putting it all over my body, my legs, and I'm just doing all because I want that oxygenation going. I don't, because as you sit too long, you can get clots.
Right. Yeah.
Unfortunately, right? So when I sit in the car for a long time, I take it with me. So then the other one that they have, which is the fairly new one, is the Imaris Prime Hybrid. It has infrared. Now, infrared, which is amazing, it's also medical, and it's what's nice is that people always say, "Well, can't I just get a lamp and put it in there?" I says the difference is that infrared with the lamp, it only can penetrate so deep. With the infrared that it's in the mat itself, you're getting it from the inside out. So you're getting infrared into the actual tissues, and it's going out. So it improves and enhances all of the healing modalities that you're using already with PEMF. So it just really umps the game up and stuff. So those are some of the reasons and stuff. We are definitely not cheap. It's an investment. And so when you find out that, okay, but when you figure it out, like for me, I had tight funds and stuff, and I had to really think about it. And then when I realized that only for 365 days, it's only going to cost me less than $20 a day. It was actually $12.45 because that's what I bought the mat for. I realized I can do this, and it's something that you use for the rest of your life.
Right.
And again, no meds at 64 years old. Then the doctor.
See, in that part, I mean, because if you think about it, you got people that are spending thousands of dollars every year on the medications that they're on. So why not, make an investment on something that's going to help you to get off the medication, to not have to go to the doctors all the time, because now you've got co-payments, you've got all those other different, fees as well. So really, if you think about it,
no,
you're saving money.
It's cheaper to keep her. It's cheaper to keep her.
You're cheaper to keep her.
So I just want to share one more thing, because my brother suffers with PTSD pretty bad. Okay. And I have some friends that are very, take a lot of drugs for their depression, and they suffer pretty bad. And when they use the mat, they say that they have literally cut down the medication because FDA approved for depression. I think in 2006 or 2011. Guys can't quote me because I don't know for sure. But I think it's 2006 or 2011. It helps with depression. And a lot of vets use PEMF. They have it in their clinics and stuff because that helps with PTSD. I even have a friend of mine. He suffers. It wasn't through PTSD, but he suffers really bad with depression. He takes a lot of medication. I did not realize it at the time. And when he started to use it, he started coming in every day. He just came over every day to use it. And he said, Marv, he says, and he's a Reiki healer, by the way. He's a Reiki master. He says, Marv, and then I have several other that are Reiki masters and or just use Reiki. And they said that this is actually as good, if not better, than Reiki. They said it really has helped. He's reduced his medication. Then when he stopped using the mat, he had to increase the medication again. So he's saving up his money to get one. He's going to get a credit card and do all that. But yeah, so it's been very profound. It's really helped my brother considerably. And my brother suffers really bad with PTSD. So yeah,
that's amazing. I mean, you can really help some of these vets out there suffering. And I'll tell you, it was kind of funny because even my family had said too, they were like, man, you know what? You were less irritable for those 2 weeks. And I'm like, wow, okay. They noticed that, even if it is just a little bit.
Because it's calming that nervous system down.
They noticed that, yeah.
I've had a couple of my friends, their husbands were kind of like, no, this is just boo-boo crap now. But the wife wanted it. It's her money. She got it. And so they started to notice. They're like, you're not so bitchy anymore. They say, usually this would set you off. This would upset you. And she says, my husband finally had to admit that he's like, I really am noticing a difference. And so because he noticed such an improvement with her, he started to use it because he used to call it the Michael Jackson chamber. He says, oh, is this the Michael Jackson chamber? So anyway, yeah.
Wow, I love it. So now I know that right now for some of our viewers that are just like, hey, yes, I want this, or if you're on the fence, there is a promotion right now with through Marv's company that she is affiliated with, right? She's an end user, but she also, because of the the experience she has had with PEMF, she has decided to be an affiliate as well with the SBS
systems. So they are having a promotion right now. It is over in 5 days, everyone. So if you want that information, you can either go to just email Marv. Her email has actually been going down through the ticker. We can get you that information so you can see. It's a great deal right now that they're doing on these. And again, yes, it is an investment, but you know what? If you are able to get yourself off of some of these medications, and if you are able to also be able to stop, all of the doctor's visits, and if you have pets and your pets are ailing and you want to maybe cut down on some of those vet bills, this is definitely something you want to look into. So, Marv, it has been just so awesome. I know we said we are gonna keep it at about 30 minutes, but we went over, and I think that is awesome because this has been wonderful information. So thank you so much for joining us today. And I look forward to getting my mat, and I look forward to just sharing this with all the rest of my health and wellness professionals out here as well, the Reiki masters and all the chiropractors and everyone I know. They're all going to get to know about this PEMF. So thank you so much for coming today, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for this PFF Mental Monday chat with Marv Kreider, right?
Kreider. And also, if you guys are interested in renting a mat, if you guys are in the local area and stuff like that, talk to Tiffany about it, and we can set you up to rent. And obviously there's a contract and everything, but we can walk through if you want to rent it, like what you did.
Yes, and you'll love it. Rent it for a week. I bet you're gonna want to keep it.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. You want to do it
for 2 weeks because you know what? After the first week, I was kind of like, but after the second week, I really did notice a difference. So.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Take care. We'll see you soon. Have an amazing week.
Thank you, guys. Bye.